Hey guys, it's Danny Bell. I hope you guys are having an awesome day today so far. Today, I thought we could continue working on our Tropicore Island of Cocobelle 2.0. We've been slowly but surely working our way through this Tropicore Island, redoing it with all the 2.0 items. And if you missed the last video, we were working on our entrance area over here using a ton of the ruined arches. We also have worked on this area in the flyover zone, so if you missed those videos, please check them out. And if you enjoyed the content on this channel, please consider subscribing. I always love to hear from you guys. Alright, so this is the flyover zone that we did in the recent video. I really like how this came together. If you're looking for a little bit more info on how to decorate your flyover zone, in particular if you're doing a jungle core, tropicore island, yeah, we had a ton of fun for sure. And I'm really glad that we were able to get that situated. We still have this small area over here between this spot right here and the beach on the map. So I thought for today we could work on this little area. I think this actually would make a really great spot for the campsite. So we've got this little gyroid guy dug up over here. We're going to move him over to the beach because I love these things. Do you guys love the gyroids? If you do, let me know in the comments. And which one is your favorite? What's this guy? Oh, look how cute he is. His little tongue is kind of hanging out too. That's pretty precious. I love those. So this is the area we're working with. Like I said, sort of close to the flyover zone in the entrance, but I want to keep it with the true sort of ruined and jungly sort of vibe going on in this particular section of the island. So let's get our construction app going, speed things up, and get going on the build for today. I'm really excited with what we're going to put together for our campsite. So honestly, guys, I think we're going to raise this up one level because this whole area is sort of got a ton of terraforming going on. And although I do want to leave a walkway for us to get to the plaza and over to our little temple area over here, I do kind of want to raise the campsite up. So we're actually running pretty low on inclines on this Tropicore Island of Cocobelle. Yeah, totally ran out of those in a hurry, even though Nintendo gave us a couple of more. So we're gonna have to get creative. I think for the campsite, it's gonna be totally appropriate to use some vines or a ladder, something of that nature, to be able to climb up here, just because it's not necessarily a place that the villagers have to get to, but it's definitely a spot that we want to make sure we can get to. So I think using some of the vine ladders or vines themselves are going to be perfect for this. Okay, so for this area, we've actually created a 6x8 square area, and then I'm adding these 3x3 squares over here in the front because we're going to be trimming these back a little bit and doing some terraforming. But if you're going to create something similar to this, like this on your island, you can for sure make it a little bit bigger. It's just this is kind of the space we're working with, and I want to make sure that we have space over here on the side to cut through. And as Toby is offering us one of his treasures, and by that he means curses, gifts he doesn't want anymore, we're going to actually add another platform on top of here. We're going to go, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4x2 over here on the top. 4x2 is kind of the minimum for this because I do want to create a small waterfall behind the campsite itself. So anyone that's newer to terraforming, you at least have to have a couple of blocks on each side, and I want it to be a double waterfall. So for that, we're going to need 2 in the center, so that's where we came up with the 4x2, but you could for sure improvise and make this your own if you're looking to do a design like this, and of course if you have the extra space, even better. Okay, I'm simply marking out a 4x4 area right here with some of the in-game sand path. This is where the campsite itself is going to be placed once we get the kit. I just like to mark that out. I do find when I'm doing builds, especially if I have to place either a house or one of the villager houses, tent, anything like that, building, it's a lot easier if you can kind of mark out the squares as you go. Now, it's not perfect, of course, but it at least kind of gives you an idea for what kind of space you need to reserve for your building that you'd be placing. If you missed one of the first few builds of Cocobelle 2.0 when we redid our house and turned it into a resort hotel type of thing going on, we did a similar sort of thing with our player house. So if you missed that video, check it out. Okay, so I'm sort of filling this in with some custom design path. I love this ruined custom design path. It's super cute. We've been using it a ton on the island, so I will be sure to link the custom design description information in the description of the video for you guys, so that if you're looking for something like this to use on your Tropicore Island or Jungle Island, you'll have the ability to find it easily. Okay, so now I'm kind of going around here. Now, I like to place things as I go when I terraform. It makes it a little easier, especially if you have tight spaces. It's a lot less up and down, so I'm just sort of placing these ruined items, the ruined columns, and then of course the bamboo shoot lamp here on top and the jail bars as I go, because otherwise it's pretty easy to get blocked in over here. So I'm just sort of framing everything in with all of these items, and then we're going to work on the top area over here. Yay! Okay, so one of my fave things from the 2.0 update was the glowing moss item. I really love it. I think it's so pretty, and so I want to use a few patches of this here and there in this build just because I think it's going to look really stellar at night. And then I'm going to place this motherly statue. Now, okay, like real talk. I know some people hate this statue. It is a little creepy looking, but I think that's sort of the idea I'm going for over here. I want it to be sort of mysterious and a little bit odd. So that was sort of the idea behind that. And I also want to be able to see it above the campsite itself. So that's kind of why I think in this case it's nice to have it raised up a little bit higher. And then just placing a few more sprigs of the glowing moss. We're going to be putting some of the bamboo partitions over here in the front. I think it'll be a nice way to frame this in. And then of course some of the ruined pathway here, that's the steps here on the corners. Now of course once you place your plot for the campsite, it's going to delete some of that pathing, so honestly you can wait to do that if you want till after you place your campsite and go to the next day, because it's just going to make you put it down again. But for my sake, I like to kind of mark it out, so that's why I sort of did that here. I'm thinking I'm going to round off this corner, but truthfully, it's going to depend how the rest of this comes together. If you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you know me, I do sometimes tend to change things up a little bit from when I'm creating designs. I'm not a super huge planner. I like to kind of mark things out, but you never really know how it's going to go until you get into the build itself. So bear with me if there's a few changes in here, but this is kind of the idea we're going for. Now the part in front of this campsite, we're going to reserve for some fun tiki sort of huts that I'm going to be creating here along the beach area. So this part today that we're doing for the campsite is going to look a little bit empty in the front, but if you want to see how everything comes together in the end, please check out the next video here in the next few days. We'll be doing some of those fun beach huts. Okay, so for this area over here, just putting in some more of the stone path, and I'll put that custom design code in the description of the video as well for you guys. But I wanted to just sort of create a shape that's not completely straight. It's going to be a little bit flat on this side, but we're going to cover the side of this ugly cliff over here with some of these bamboo partitions. I really love this item. It's an older item, but I like it because it creates a little bit of coverage without it being completely blocked in. So I like the use of this over here on the side, and then we're going to fill in that area once we get to it with a little bit of the wheat field item in the dark green, just to kind of create some movement and texture so that when you walk through there, it's a little bit more pleasing to the eye. Okay, over here, we're going to be adding more ruined arches, of course, just kind of trying to frame this in. This is right up next to the beach. Not 100% sure what we're going to do with all of this vertical beach over here. I love decorating the beaches, but honestly, the vertical beaches are always a challenge. So we'll have to come up with some ideas. I'm really excited with how everything is coming together so far in Cocobelle. All right, let's see. Now over here, we're going to place some of the vines here on the cliff. I love these because not only do they create a really pretty thing to look at on the side of the cliff, you also have the ability to climb up them. So they're useful and beautiful. I really love these. I used a ton of them back on Sugarbelle. If you missed that series, that was the Farmcore Island we just finished up recently here. And oh my gosh, we created a vineyard, used a ton of the vine items. So if you missed that, check it out. It was a ton of fun, especially if you're looking for some Farmcore inspo for that entire series. So now that we have the campsite kit over here, we're going to place it right here and imagine it. Yes, I love it. Now you can see how some of that path disappeared. We can totally put that back tomorrow. Oh no, I just realized we lost our bamboo trees, y'all. Okay, so plan B, this is what I'm talking about. You never really know how things are going to come together. It totally looked like those trees were going to be able to stay, but it doesn't look like we have enough space. So we only have a couple of options. Now, if we had a little more room, I would probably just extend that out a couple more blocks and then we could replant the trees. But you know what? Let's roll with it. Maybe instead of doing bamboo trees or palm trees here, we can do some giant vines, a placeable type of item. I think they're going to look stellar. So let's go to the next day because I want to see how the campsite looks now that it's in place. Oh no, Toby. Okay, so sidebar conversation with Toby. He's being an ingrate and he decided he wanted to leave, which honestly, like, I'm a little sad, but that means we get to do a villager hunt. So really excited. That means we get to have an impromptu villager hunt here in the next week or so. Yay. So I guess it all worked out, truthfully. Okay, so this little area on the campsite is super stubborn. I don't know if you guys have had that problem, but it really doesn't want to let you put a custom design path underneath, but you can. You sort of just have to turn to the side and it'll let you place it under the side of the campsite little plaque over there and the stairs. All right, a few finishing touches. Now that we have our vines in place, I want a little seating area. I love the glowing moss stool. I think it's going to be cute, but honestly, a ruined stool would probably look just as adorbs here in this place. You could also set something on top of it, but in this case, I think I'm just gonna leave it as a little seating area, and I think it's gonna look brilliant at night so that it sort of glows and shines, kind of setting off all of the planted moss that we have around here. And then I'm going to bring this back up to a square because I think if we can put a couple of torches up here, it's going to add a nice bit of lighting here. Sometimes when I'm doing any sort of designs that have things like the glowing moss or anything with fire like these torches, it's a really good idea to time travel to that time of night because it's easier to be able to see what the design's going to look like after it's all finished if you're decorating in the time of day or evening that you intend everything to sort of pop. So that's sort of the idea behind time traveling to the evening. I think it's going to look really great. So we're at a few more finishing touches here. Like I said, with the wheat field, this is in the dark green color. I think this has a really great jungle sort of vibe, and I just love this item so much. It works like a leaf pile, so you can place it, walk through it, which is ideal for a little skinny pathway like this. If you're looking for transition area ideas and you're trying to come up with something that's versatile, this is just really nice because it fills in the pathways, and having something like this just kind of gives it a little bit more height to it, but it's still totally usable. And I think the villagers should be able to walk through here with no problem as well, which is an even bigger bonus. Yes, love it. Place a couple more of these and I think we'll be good to go. I do tend to move things around sometimes after the fact, so yeah, it came together pretty well. I like how this kind of was tied together here. In the end, I ended up putting one of the festival drums right next to the campsite just for a little bit more of a tropical and jungly sort of vibe. And then the moss tool is a nice little glowing patch to kind of add to all of the moss we have sprinkled around here in a few spots. I actually honestly kind of like the vines even better than the bamboo trees, you guys. I don't know, that was, I guess, what Bob Ross would call like a happy accident. Love me some Bob Ross. He's amazing. But yeah, I really like this. I hope you guys will give this a try for yourselves. I think this build is pretty easy to do if you just give yourself a little bit of time and patience with the terraforming part of it. It just really gives you a nice opportunity to use some of these ruined arches and all the ruined items as well as the vines incorporated, I think add a lot to it. And I think it's going to work perfectly for Cocobelle. So I think it's a huge step up from the campsite that we had previously here on the island. It was more traditional, definitely had a lot of RV type of vibes going on, which is great, but not necessarily what I was going for a tropical and beach slash jungle sort of island. So I like this. I think it's more suitable to the new Cocobelle revamped, and I think it's going to be really great. So I'm really looking forward to when we can have our first camper here at the campsite from the upgrade. So yeah, really looking forward to that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, you guys. Thank you to all the subscribers and all of your kind words and messages. I for sure have the best subscribers in the world. You all truly mean the world to me, and I can't thank you enough for your continued support. Wishing you all an amazing day, take care, and we'll see you in the next one.